Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are going to solve another problem in PictoBlox, which is solving a maze. So the problem goes like this. There'll be food at the end of the maze, and what the sprite, in our case which is Toby, has to reach the fruit. But the catch over here is all the walls of the maze are dangerous. Okay, so the moment Toby touches the walls of the maze, he's like gone. So he'll get respawned again at the starting point. Without touching those walls, he has to reach the fruit so that he can fill up his belly. Okay, so yeah, that's how the story goes, and let's start doing the program. First thing is, yeah, we got Toby over here, and let's name the project Maze Runner. Maybe, and then we have the backdrop, which is the maze backdrop over here. So the starting point will be over here, and he has to walk through all this maze and reach the fruit. So he can choose any path. But as I said, touching the walls is dangerous for Toby. So we'll be reducing his size. If he's fitting all over the maze, then it's well and good. Or else you can reduce the size even more. Just make it 45 or even 40 works. Now, accordingly, you can change. Like if the change is bigger, then walking through him, the entire maze would be difficult. So if you want to design the game difficult, then you can make this 50. Don't make it more than that because he won't even fit without touching the walls. So 51 is well and good. That's the maximum cap you can put. 45 is normal, and you can put 40 for playing it safe. Now, we do have some steps to follow here. First is we have to define the starting stage of starting position of Toby, which is I'll be putting him almost invisible. He'll be just peeking into the frame, which is around, I'll put negative 130. I'll just round this x value 130, and I'll just make this negative 200. Oh, it what? Okay, maybe he can't be got into 200. But yeah, negative 190, that's good and enough. Now, first thing is we have to control the Toby's movements, right? For that, we'll be using the arrow keys. So, first thing is when up arrow key pressed, we have him move upwards, which is change y by 10. Now, duplicate this. So, okay, when down arrow pressed, it has to move by negative 10. Then we'll copy this for right arrow, which is changing x by 10. It should be on the right side. We'll duplicate this for left arrow, which is negative 10. Okay, now we have to define his initial position. So when green flag is clicked, he'll just go to the position whatever it is right now, and this should be negative 130. Okay, now when green flag is clicked, he'll be here. And yeah, the size is already set to 40, or else if you want to set it on the program, just set size to 40% over here, like whatever the size you want, 45 or 50, that also works. Now we have two conditions to check, right? One is if he is touching the black walls or he is touching the red apple. Now why I'm highlighting the color of the things over here is because uh, none of the sprites can truly interact the parts of backdrops, because backdrops are just there. They are nothing. Like if we define these as walls, they are walls. If we define them as fruit, the apple, they are apple, but there are not any parts that sprites can interact with. So we'll be relying on the colors of these parts. So obviously we have to check these conditions, so we need the if block, and the condition is if it is touching the color, which is we have to select it because we should not be confusing Toby with the shades of different colors. So you can just put black over here, completely black, but as I said, that might be a little bit different shade. So let's select it from the backdrop using this option. So that middle square has to be put on the thing. Yeah. Okay, complete true black also work, but this will not work for all type of colors. So we'll just use the standard way. If he's touching the black color, that means he's touching the dangerous wall. So we'll just make him respawn at the starting position. Then we'll duplicate this if block. The color should be selected as apple, so which means the red color. So that's what I mean, like if you use this, you might be changing the shade of the red color. So that's why uh, let's just use the color from directly from the backdrop. If this is the case, then we'll just say, hey, I got the apple. Yeah, so that's how we say it. And let's say this for 5 seconds so that whoever is playing can get understanding that like at least some time to read the entire statement. Okay, so if you have bigger statements, you can give more time over here so that we can read it properly, because it will be displayed on the screen. So yeah, and this has to be checked like forever, right? Because here we are checking it only once. If we select, if we just mention it once, yeah. Now this checking for black color and red color will happen forever once you start the game. So whenever, like by chance, if Toby got touched to these specific colors, it'll just respawn at the starting point. That's it. Now, yeah, this is the program. Now let's just test it. So let me put it in the full screen. Yeah. Okay, there is a new update. No. Okay. When green flag is clicked, like we have to click it to activate the checks for the colors and the apple. You can still, like without clicking on the green flag, you can still try to move the Toby, any sprite, because we don't have any bigger blocks for the conditions except the green flag. So you can go and nothing works, nothing responds. So we'll just click on green flag to get Toby to the starting position. Then you can use the arrow keys to get him to the apple without touching any of the walls. Okay. Here it might get some problem. No, that's perfect. Yeah, it is going to the apple. Now let's start the game again and let's see what happens if you touch the black line. So as you can see, now wherever he touches that black line, he just come back to the starting position. So as you can see, it's happening. Okay. Now this happens even when you reach the apple, and I mean so close to it, and by mistake, if you touch a black line, which you should definitely avoid. Yeah, that's it. That's a huge disappointment if we do that at the very end where we are about to reach the apple. But yeah, that's how it should be worked. Okay, so this is how you can solve a problem. As I said, once you understand the problem statement, it will be very easy to solve the problem step by step. Now, if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comment section. I'll definitely clear them out as soon as possible. And then, if you have any questions that you can't solve by your own, if you have anything for me to work on, please drop them down in the comment section. I'll definitely do them. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today. Let's meet again with a new video with new problem to solve, and bye for now.